Hello, I'm William Gallagher, and this is 58 Keys, which, as always, is for writers like you and me who use and who write on Macs and iPhones, iPads, and sort of a bit the Apple Watch. Do subscribe or support 58 Keys on Patreon or find the likey button thing, because there is so much to talk about, and actually the likey thing really helps. There is an edition actually of 58 Keys already that picks out, I think it's a half dozen or so Apple Watch apps that I believe are the ones that are most useful to us as writers. But something I didn't cover, apart from all the fitness stuff, is what happens when you are going on a research trip. Now, I've only done this a couple of times, but a week in an archive in a new place, fantastic. And there are Apple Watch apps that are particularly useful just for the mechanics of getting where you're going on a research trip or a holiday or anything, where you're staying as well, and also getting around the area while you're there. I am going to skip really specific local apps, such as I use London's Tube Map app, which I will put a link to, but no use outside London. And then there is City Mapper, which isn't everywhere, but it's kind of close, so I will include that. Pretty much, I mean, inevitably, isn't it? When you book a flight, a hotel, a train, a car, you will get an email confirmation. You can then forward that email to plans@tripit.com. It's always that same address. It's the same address for anyone, for everyone. But then what Tripit does is it sees that the email has come from my email account, so it adds the details of that hotel or whatever to my Tripit account. It parses the emails, though. It pulls out the dates and the addresses and the flight numbers and things, and it compiles a timeline, a schedule for you with all of the check-in times and check-out times and addresses. Now, I have used this most on my iPhone, but when you're waiting for something on your journey or on the train ride, you can check your watch to see what's next. There are limits. For instance, no matter how long your trip is, the watch version of Tripit is only going to show you what's coming up in the next 30 hours. The iPhone has everything, but the watch just the next 30 hours, so today and into tomorrow. Plus, if you're supposed to be on a train right now, the watch will not show you that train journey because it isn't a thing that's coming up anymore. It's happening now, or it should have gone. But the result is, the upshot is, only the next useful thing is shown on your watch, and for anything else, you can go to your phone. Tripit, the watch app and the service and the iPhone app, it's free, but there is also a Tripit Pro. For $50 a year, you get flight alerts. It will find alternative flights for you and quite a lot more. But I mean, I'm sure it's very good, but I've been using the free version for so many years and I didn't really know the difference until just now. And I went to check up the pricing so I could tell you. We're still on our way to where we're going. So Flighty and App in the Air, two apps. I was sitting in a cafe, right, at Heathrow Airport. We'd done the checking in. We were just waiting for the time to be cleared to go through to security when my watch tapped me on the wrist. Our flight had been cancelled. You should have heard me. Cancelled! I like bellowed across this area. Maybe I was over the top there, but actually that flight cancellation meant the holiday was cancelled. Complicated reasons, but the thing is that it was Flighty on my Apple Watch that told me first, that in fact told me well before Heathrow Airport bothered to say anything. So that's kind of an annoying reason to be grateful for Flighty, but most of the time it's happier than that. A quick glance, how long to boarding, what gate to go to, tends to find the gate before they're displayed, but all of that. And I do keep saying Flighty because that's what I was using that time, but the truth is I'm a little bit torn between Flighty and App in the Air. Do you know, I did not get that title until I said it aloud. Up in the air. I need to make some more flights to be sure, but last time I was flying, I did actually use both. I used the free version of one of them. I bought Flighty. I bought it for a week. That's all I needed. So that's all I did. And actually, App in the Air offers a weekly subscription option as well. Have it for a week, get rid of it. Now, I've got to tell you that the pricing for both of these is bewildering. I mean, please look at this. Yeah, where do you start? I'll also tell you though that I will not anymore take a flight anywhere without one or either of Flighty or App in the Air. Now, since we're talking about getting somewhere, you're not going to be flying up to your hotel room door, so there is this City Mapper. Despite the name, it does work outside cities. I mean, not very outside. Think of Greater London instead of just London. And City Mapper is not in every city in the world, but it's in most of them. And where it is excellent. for getting you around the place. I mean, public transport, taxis, trains, even walking if necessary. And this is another one where I would enter the destination on my iPhone, but then both the phone and the watch will alert you at various stages of your journey. I mean, I'm using bus rides a lot, and I love this. It'll tell you your stop is coming up, and then it will tell you, get off now. Citymapper pricing. Citymapper used to be entirely free, which is worrying because you think it's going to go away. Then it went subscription, and I subscribed to it. But then as of last year, all of its features were again made available to everyone, but with advertising. You can pay $10 a year to remove the ads, and I do. With Flighty, App in the Air, and Citymapper, there are very good iPhone apps, but I think it's the Apple Watch one that maybe you use the most when you're out and about. Not for the setting up, but then in the use of it. It's kind of more 50-50 with this next one, I think, which is Apple's own Maps app. I would always use the iPhone Maps app, or the Macs, whatever, to enter where it is that I want to go. But then remember, you could be off in a totally new place, a strange new world, really. And Apple Watch Maps lets you enjoy it. Forget staring at your phone, or in fact, forget the phone entirely. You just stroll. And when you get to a point eventually that you should turn left or you should turn right, your Apple Watch will tap you on your wrist. Tap, 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 tap means turn left, and tap, 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 tap 12 times in a row, no pauses, means turn right and calm down. So, I mean, you can just enjoy, and I do this looking around you instead of at your iPhone screen. And actually, I suppose it's also safer, isn't it? Because you're not holding a £1,000 iPhone while going through an area that maybe you don't know. Speaking of not knowing an area, well, you need to know an area. You need to know something about where you are. I mean, such as where to eat. Maps will take you a hotel, and you could, while you're there, you could ask Siri for the nearest restaurants, but it's not going to be a very satisfying experience with Siri. Whereas you can also use Yelp on your watch. I mean, as ever, you have to install Yelp on your iPhone, and actually the watch app will not do anything until on your iPhone you have logged into a Yelp account or created a Yelp account. But thereafter, one tap on Yelp on your Apple Watch will get you the nearest restaurants, bars, coffee shops, and something called Hot and New. I have no idea what that is, because whenever I tap on it, it says no, nothing hot or new nearby. I mean, I'm right here. Well, Yelp has the benefit, I suppose, of one tap to get to those things. But I think that's also a limitation. I mean, if you want a bookshop, for example, well, tough. Except one of my favourite iPhone apps is also on the Apple Watch, and it can do more. Where To on the iPhone lets you ask for all the nearest bookshops, all the nearest Apple stores, anything you like. Or for example, with restaurants, but then you can get more specific than with Yelp. You can get it to just show you pizza restaurants, Indian restaurants. You can fine-tune your searches, I suppose. The Apple Watch with Where To, well, it can't show you as much, but it can show you a lot, and a lot more than Yelp does. The thing of it is, more than just, well, you still have to use the Apple Watch app, the iPhone app first. But in this case, what you do is at some point, whenever you like, you go through the categories and you mark certain ones as favourites. Last time I looked for a supermarket, for example, I found the one I marked supermarkets as a favourite. And once you do that, the watch will show you all of your favourites. Nothing else, just the favourites. Where To, at first it asks you to bring your watch close to your iPhone to sync those favourites, and I don't know why. Why isn't it just normal? But thereafter that, they're on the watch. And remember, these favourites, they're not specific favourite places. They are specific favourite searches. So supermarkets, not the Tesco on the corner. Tap on, say, Indian, if you've added that as a favourite, and Where To will start a search for Indian restaurants near wherever you are. It's excellent. So, planning a research trip, right, well, best done on a Mac, iPhone or iPad. But after that, the Apple Watch, it's not the only way to keep on top of where you're going, but it is a deeply useful one. And I have just made myself want to go on another research trip, possibly to an Indian restaurant. Might be able to pull that off. Anyway, that's it for this edition of 58 Keys. Thank you very much for watching. Now take care of yourself. Write more, travel more if you can, research more if you can, and I'll see you soon.